Hello friends, I'm Tim Wildsmith, and look who's back. It's my wife, Becca Wildsmith.
It's me. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at the Dwell Scripture Listening app.
Okay, this is a new one for us. We are doing a review of not a physical Bible, but a Bible app.
Wow.
And there's a lot of Bible apps out there.
Yes, there are. But this one's different.
This one's different because
It's meant for listening to Scripture.
It's an audio Bible app. And we love it. It's a really cool app. It's called Dwell. We just started using it recently. This right here, we are in we call it the piano room. There's a piano right over here. This used to be our dining room.
It used to be a dining room, but we didn't dine here very often.
We never ate in here. So we turned it into a little place to sit, and we drink our coffee in the mornings. Yeah. We read our Bibles.
We do our quiet time.
That sort of thing. We just hang out here in the mornings. And we've started adding in listening to the Bible with the Dwell app. I'm a big podcast listener, so I'm listening to... I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
You listen to a lot of podcasts, but you learn a lot.
I do learn. I think
there's something about listening and absorbing Scripture that is different than when you read it. For example, he's a pastor. He went to seminary. So you know the pronunciations of names and places. I have a degree in art, and I do not. So I really love listening to Scripture.
Yeah.
Because you get to learn how to pronounce.
Well, and also just the time factor. You know, like we have time right now to sit in this room and read our Bibles, but like you can also listen to podcasts or the Bible or read listen to audiobooks while you're in the car, while you're grocery shopping, things like that. And I do think it also like not just learning names and people's names and places and stuff like that, but it allows us to, I think something happens in our brains. There's science behind this. I'm sure of it. That like we learn differently when we're listening than when we're just reading.
Absolutely.
So I definitely think it's an interesting thing. And this is just a beautifully designed modern app.
With a lot of cool features.
Lots of cool features. Yeah. And so what we're going to do today is we are going to walk you through the interface of the Dwell Bible app. I'm going to do a screen recording and we're going to talk you through it, show you all the different features. At the end of the video, we're going to tell you about how you can subscribe, how you can download the app, that sort of thing. And just really cool way to read the Bible in a different way. I'm not saying I'm going to stop reading my Bible.
No.
But I love this as a tool to help me learn Scripture, to dwell on Scripture. No pun intended. I guess it was pun intended. But it's a really awesome app and we're excited to share it with you. Okay, so Dwell has been around since 2018.
Yep.
Started as a Kickstarter campaign where they raised funds. They were fully funded in like just over 50 hours.
Some odd hours, yeah. Less than a few days.
Huge support. They launched this app in the summer of 2018. It's available for iPhone, the App Store. It's available for Androids. I've never even seen an Android. Does anybody have an Android?
They're like Samsung phones and stuff, like.
Oh, okay. So it says that you can find the app in the Google Play Store. We've been iPhone people since like day one.
I had the clam flip phone, so let's just.
Okay. Anyway, let's dive in.
Okay.
This is all my different Bible apps. I open up the Dwell app, and it gets you to this landing page where it's like the For You tab. You see at the bottom left, it says For You. So that's just like anything you've been listening to, like the Up Next tab. I was listening to this Wonders plan. So that's the next thing I'm going to go to. We've got favorites, so anything you've favorited. So I've favorited the Morning Daily Office. So for example, if you're an Anglican or Church of England, we were in England last fall, and we were participating in the Church of England, and so they were doing the daily reading. So they have the Book of Common Prayer loaded in here as audio files, which is really awesome.
Yeah. This For You page kind of reminds me of the Spotify homepage.
Yeah.
When you go to it, because it has what you've been listening to, the things that you've favorited.
Absolutely.
The playlist.
Anything you've downloaded or you have in queue, this is where you go.
So it's very intuitive.
I'm going to jump over to the third tab, which is called the Bible tab, which is basically like you can search through the app and find any verse in the Bible, any chapter of the Bible. It's just like reading the Bible if you went to scroll through. But so you have the entire Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. You can search by different ones. So what do you want me to find?
Find the Prodigal Son.
Prodigal Son. So let's go to Luke chapter 15.
He knew exactly where this was.
There's... That's Rosie. Rosie is...
We'll talk about Rosie for a second.
So you get to pick voices. I'll tell you about that in a second. There's a bunch of really cool voices and translations and stuff. So that's just the Bible tab. Is you can go and search by... It's
the Bible.
By book, by chapter, by verse. You can find whatever you're looking for and just listening to it. I'm going to jump back over now to the Explore tab. This is where it gets really fun because they have different categories of listening plans, playlists, and passages.
Yes.
So let's just start at the top. Plans. If you click on plans, it gives you all of the... So this is just like a Bible reading plan that you get in another app, but it's a listening plan.
Right.
So right here at the top, you see the straight through plan. So if I click that, that is a read the Bible in a year, but it's listen to the Bible in a year.
That's what I'm doing right now.
So like you see, most of these files are anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes long, and it's literally just day by day you listen through the Bible. I mean, and it's straight through. They have a historical plan, they have the chronological plan. Jump in here, they have plans for all different stuff. So I was doing the Wonders plan, which is take the next 7 days and listen in wonder to the miracles performed by Jesus in the gospel. So it's 7 days, the miracles of Jesus. That's a different plan you can do. There's lots of different plans. I think it said that they have over 70 different plans currently in the app that you can, basically subscribe to, and then you listen every day until the plan is over.
That's awesome.
So I really love that. And if you subscribe to it, it shows up in that For You page at the front, kind of the landing page.
So it's easy to access.
So then the next thing is called playlists.
Okay, so now I have used this one.
Okay.
I had a rough day at the office, I don't know, I guess it was a week or two ago now. And I got in the car and I was just like, Lord, I need a deep breath. And I thought, I'm going to listen to the Dwell app. And I opened it up. And one of the very first ones I saw was I'm feeling stressed. So they have all these different playlists based on different things that can be encouraging to you. So I'm feeling stressed. I'm worried.
But just to say this, I'm feeling stressed is just a whole bunch of different passages that are meant to encourage you if you're feeling stressed.
Yes, and we're talking these
so
are
it's a playlist. It's just like if you had a bunch of different songs in a playlist. It's just a bunch of different passages of Scripture. The I'm feeling stressed
tracks.
playlist is... I mean, there's a bunch of different verses.
I listened to it. It was maybe like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So it was perfect for me, in the car, I'm decompressing. This is a really great thing for me to listen to at this moment. So,
and then it's not just about how you're feeling. It's like different passages of the Scripture that are in a place, different themes. Here's some that are sleep playlists. So this is like if you want to fall asleep to Scripture, there's a sleep timer. I'll show you that in a second. You can press play on this, and it's just soothing Scripture to fall asleep to with background music. I mean, so you have all of these different curated playlists. That there's one about prayer, meditation, fasting. All the keystone passages from the Gospel of Matthew. So that's what's in playlists. You have plans where you're marching through a set plan. You have playlists where you're just listening to Scripture from all over the place about this different theme or topic. And then they have passages, which is just famous passages from the Bible. So I bet you we can find the prodigal son is probably in here.
Noah's Ark, Jonah's story,
the Passion, feeding of the 5,000. It's just a bunch of different popular, well-known passages that you can just have quick access to and dive right in. So that's all through the Explore tab. I can get lost in the Explore tab. And then if you keep scrolling, they're just giving you a bunch of different stuff to prompt you to check different things out, which is really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the For You tab. I'm going to click into My Plans. Let's see. I'm going to click into Favorites. I've favorited the Sermon on the Mount. So I'm going to press the Sermon on the Mount, and Rosie, my girl Rosie, is going to start speaking to us. Here we go.
Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain.
Isn't that nice?
And when he sat down, his disciples came to him.
Okay, so I'm going to press pause. So now we're on the interface of what actually shows up when you start listening. So you see at the very top, there's that little pink bar that says listen. If I click on read along, this is a new feature where now you can read along with it. So if you don't just want to listen, but you want to read along, now they have this thing and it actually auto advances. So you don't have to touch the screen at all. So press play.
And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit.
That's really cool. It's beautifully designed. I mean, you can tell that's Helvetica bold. It's like...
Well, let me check that A.
Come on.
It sure is.
Hey, I know my graphic design. I know my typography. So you can read along with it. That's one of their new features that I think is really cool. But then going back to the Listen tab, at the very bottom is where you start to get into all of the customizable features.
This is fun.
So on the far left where it has the little voice, so this is where I've clicked Rosie. You see I have Rosie. She is reading the ESV. So they have all of these different translations, King James, NIV, several ESVs, the Christian Standard Bible, NRSV. There's a Spanish edition spoken by Mateo, the Message, NKJV. So
I've been listening to Austin.
You have? So Austin is the CSB.
Because I'm going through CSB this year.
Let's hear what Austin sounds like. If I just click him, he'll keep reading.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs.
Ooh,
he's got a little inflection to his voice.
Austin's got some bass in his voice.
Yeah. Hello.
So you click there and you decide which person you want to be reading it, what translation. So you can't mix and match the voices and the translations. They're reading one translation.
Because they've read them.
Exactly. So I'm going to go back to Rosie, and then if you... Oh, there she is. then the second one at the bottom where it has a little circle in the person's brain, that's called dwell mode. So if you want to just repeat a passage or whatever you're listening to, you can click that little bar and it will repeat it. If you want to,
that's a great way to memorize scripture.
Great way to memorize scripture. If you want to give time between the playlist, between the verses that you're listening to, you click on the reflect tab and it will give you a little bit of space so you can kind of think and reflect about what you just listened to before it keeps playing.
Yeah, I like that.
The next thing.
I like the repeat, but like I'm wondering if I would repeat it in Rosie's accent. Like if I tried to memorize
you might start memorizing scripture with the accent.
Blessed are the poor in
There's a guy
spirit.
from Africa in here, Felix.
Really?
You can have the African accent. That's pretty great. My friend Brandon was like, "Oh yeah, I love Felix." When I told him I was like, "Hey, have you heard about the Dwell app?" He's like, "Yeah, I love."
Good old Felix.
He knew immediately. He's like, "Yeah, I love Felix." That's amazing. Okay, so on the bottom, the third from the one in the center, that's the sleep timer. So you can set 8, 15, 30, or do a custom setting.
I haven't tried this yet. I think I might try
Fall asleep to scripture. Yeah. That's really great. Then the music tab. So they had a guy create custom music beds for this app. And so you see there's different ambient, guitar, hymns, piano, and cello. You can do no music at all. I have it selected at random, so it just gives me a different one each time. And it's just kind of a little bit of a bed
It's
of
kind
music.
of like when the pastor's trying to, at the end of church, and he's trying to like rein it in, and then the keyboardist gets up like real slyly and starts playing music, and
That's
you're like,
exactly what
we're
it's like.
landing the plane
That's
here.
exactly what it's
It
like.
kind of gives that vibe. I like it.
Okay, and then you can customize all that at the very bottom right of the app when the player's up. So you have the playback rate. So I listen to Rosie I listen to podcasts at 1.5 speed.
Which I cannot do, y'all. It's like
I actually bumped Rosie up here a couple pluses to like closer to 1.5 speed, which is where I've been listening to her.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of dial everything in. So the voices, I have the voice all the way up, and I have the music down about 40%, and then the master volume is just the volume of your phone.
This is where you all become producers, like music engineers.
You get to produce your own Bible audio app. So if I'm gonna just click Rosie up a few paces, and then I'll go here.
For they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek.
That feels
for
like a
they shall
much better
inherit
pace.
the
Well
earth.
Right?
done. This is getting a
Blessed
Grammy.
are those who hunger.
And what I'm thinking in my head is if I make it go faster, then I'll be done faster. Which is not the way you want to read the Bible, but let's face it.
Rosie's
in the back of my mind.
Rosie's pace could be picked up a notch. That's great. I think that's
she
great.
reads very slowly, so some of these people read a little bit faster, so sometimes you can slow them down and you need to really soak it in. So that's the audio interface, all the different features in there.
I love that it's totally
Instead,
customizable.
the next feature next to the play button is you're just skipping one verse at a time. And again, the read along feature is really awesome because you can just scroll through and see the verses, but I think that's a really good thing is to be able to read it and listen to it at the same time. Up here at the very, very top, there's this little button, so you can play this on your phone, but then this is we have Sonos in our house, so we can play it in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the studio. That's your art studio and where I do most of my videos, or then in my office. So you can play this throughout your house, not just on your phone. Really, really sharp. And then just this top left little arrow down, and that stays at the bottom, and then you can go back to explore the app. So you can actually be listening and then finding what you're going to do. Next. Overall, I have really enjoyed this app. I think it's beautifully designed.
Absolutely.
It's very modern. It's easy to use once you kind of get the hang of it. Yeah.
Is absolutely user friendly. There's enough customization to it that makes it really personable, but not so much that you get overwhelmed by all the options.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
You can download Dwell via the App Store if you have an iPhone, or Google Play if you have an Android. There's a free 7-day trial, and then you have the option to subscribe. There's an annual membership, or you can get a lifetime access to the app.
This would be a great gift.
Yeah, you can gift it to other people through the app. There's a thing for churches. If you're on staff at a church, you can pay the fee for Dwell, and everyone in your congregation can have access to the app.
I love that. That's awesome.
And before you do all that, check the link in the description of this video. Check the link at BibleReviewBlog.com because the folks at Dwell have given Bible Review Blog fans a discount code for the app.
Really?
Yeah, I reached out to them.
That's awesome.
There's a 10% discount if you want to get the annual plan, and there's a 33% discount if you want to get the lifetime plan. So you pay $100 right now, and you have access to Dwell for life, which is really awesome.
You're never going to stop listening to scripture. I mean, get the lifetime.
Really awesome for them to do that.
That's awesome.
And it's really cool. We like this app. We have enjoyed using it. It's been meaningful for us just as our Bible study time and listening to scripture goes. It's really awesome. We would love to know what you think. So leave a comment. As always, let Becca know that you're glad to see her on the channel, which you all always do when Becca shows up. And definitely check out BibleReviewBlog.com. I've got a write-up of the Dwell app. I've got some photos that we've taken around here, which is really fun. So, and as always, while you're here on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video or you want to see more Bible content just like this. Becca, thank you so much for joining me on this one.
Thanks for having me.
This was awesome.
Great.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.